Hello everyone and welcome to one of the most popular crossover SUV in its segment that promises to be practical, spacious and also sensible, which is this new 2024 Honda CRV. But does it still manage to be one of the most popular in its segment? So in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this CRV. Oh, and this new CRV is also a 7-seater. Now the new Honda CRV is offered in 4 different variants, which is the DX 2-wheel drive, LX 2-wheel drive, EX all-wheel drive and the Touring all-wheel drive. And the particular variant that I am reviewing is the top of the line Touring all-wheel drive. And the first thing to notice is that this looks completely different than the previous generations from the 2021 or whatever older generation when you've seen it was more roundish and curvy, but the new one now is in line with all the newer variants, the different models that are there in the Honda's lineup, the Accord, Civic and the Pilot, all of it. The Pilot review I've recently done, so you can click on the pop-up banner out here. You can watch the detailed review video of that. So yeah, it's all in line and in sync with the latest design from the Honda. So you get this big black grille out here, glossy one with this flat Honda badging out here, again a shiny one. There's this black color strip that runs from one end to the other, dissecting these headlights. I'm going to come to that later. There's also a half chrome strip at the bottom of this grille, and out here at the bottom you get a silver color strip that runs from one end to the other. At the bottom there's just normal plastic, and out here you would find LED fog lights that are given, and there are also these vents which are the real vents, and it's surrounded by normal plastic out here. When you come to these headlights, you get a full set of LED headlight cluster on this one. They are the adaptive headlights, so they will adjust everything, the range and focus and everything, and make sure that the oncoming traffic is not dazzled by your headlights. And there are also DRLs that are given out here on the top, and those same DRLs convert into the turn signals, and you get a very sleek headlight cluster out here. And underneath this new CRV you will find a 1.5 liter turbocharged VTEC 4-cylinder engine, and there's also a camera that has been mounted which is used for all your safety systems like your adaptive cruise control and also the front passenger collision warning or the traffic collision and all of that. It's all being powered by using that camera that has been given out here in the center of the front glass. Now this CRV is also offered in 7 different color options, and once you continue on the sides you get these plastic arches, normal plastic, that are given to protect your fender from any scuffs or anything around. And at the bottom more skirtings that are given around these doors, and these skirtings actually cover the entire door till the bottom of the frame. So yeah, your frames are usually clean whenever you go somewhere off-roading, or yeah, so your pants won't get dirty. There is also a fixed sideboard in normal plastic that has been given. There's also CRV badging in here. There are lots of CRV badges that are given on this CRV. I'm going to come to that, but one of that is given out here, and I feel like the fixed sideboard reduces the height of the car a little bit. I mean, it's not that tall of a car that you need a sideboard, but I don't know, maybe it looks more rugged when you see with the side step. And there are also more plastic arches that are given out here in the back in the normal plastic. And out here you would find 18-inch black color alloy rims on this Touring variant and also on the EX variant, whereas on the DX and the LX you will find 17-inch alloy rims that you get. And when you come to these side mirrors, these are body colored side mirrors, and they also have a bit of chrome strip on the sides, and these mirrors are power foldable. They are also power adjustable, but they don't have the blind spot warning or anything. But there is Honda's lane watch that you get. So there is a camera mounted on the right side, so whenever you're going to be turning right and you signal that, so it's displayed, the feed is displayed on your infotainment screen. So yeah, that's again continued, although the quality of that can be improved now a little bit. That's the only thing. And there's also a CRV projected light which illuminates the ground at night, and also there is also the CRV lights which are given on the door sills. There's also a chrome surround that has been given around these windows. And when you come to these doors, these are the smart keyless entry doors, but the front doors are only the smart keyless entry ones, not the rear ones. There are also these wind deflectors that are given on this thing. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but it definitely helps in reducing the wind whooshing around these windows, and it's probably the reason why they are given for that, and also to help protect you from all the rainwater whenever it rains out here, so it doesn't come inside the interior. There are also these silver color roof rails that are given. Now, as I mentioned, this is now a 7-seater, so there is also a third row that has been given on this CRV. Now, even in the rear, the CRV dons a new look, but it still borrows some styling cues from the previous generation, like these lights and design and stuff, the placement of it, but nonetheless it's still a pretty fresh looking new CRV that you get. So you get this black color spoiler out here in the back with the brake light inside of that, and out here you would find full set of LED tail lights that you get on this new CRV. Your turn signals and everything is in LED. There's also this chrome strip that continues from one end to the other with the Honda badging out here in chrome, and there's this bit that a little bit just took my attention. It's that these chrome strips are not continuous, so there's this break in the middle. Yeah, I mean, I'm just bothered by that. It's just, I don't know, yeah, they could have made it into like a single strip. And out here at the bottom you would find normal plastic bumper with these reflector strips given on either side, and at the bottom of that you would find dual exhaust tips with the chrome tips. So yeah, these are the real ones and not the fake ones. There's also the CRV badging with the all-wheel drive given out here on this side. And when you come to the visibility, it's actually pretty decent on this CRV. There's good amount of view that you get, and pretty tall that way because the glass is also pretty tall, so you get good amount of visibility, not too many pillars to hinder that visibility. Now when you come to the boot space, in order to open the boot door, you can either swipe the legs and open it, because maybe you have a lot of shopping bags, but you need to have the key in your pocket. That's when this car will do that sort of maneuver. Otherwise you can press the button and open the boot door. And there are scuff plates that are given out here in the back, metal scuff plates. There are also lights given out here in the back that illuminate those scuff plates, and there are 3 rows of seats now, so which is why the space in the back is a little cramped now. You also get this cover, CRV cover for this car, but yeah, let me just put it aside for now. So yeah, there's not much of that, and as you see, there's a lot of steps that are given out here. So you get this storage at the bottom of this, like a rubber mat, and you can remove all of this, and at the bottom you would find more storage and also a spare wheel that has been mounted underneath of that. It's a bit of a struggle to go inside and get to see that, because you have to fold down these seats and then you get to see that. But the third row of seats are foldable in a ratio of 50:50, and there are these straps that are given, so you pull those. Let me put that cover completely away. You can fold down very easily, and even if you want to pull them up, there are straps given, so you can easily pull them up. So when the third row of seats are folded down, you can put about 617 liters of luggage in the back, which is pretty decent for a sort of small SUV of this size, which is now this sort of step makes sense because there are seats, so in order to make it even, which is why this additional step has been added. Now the second row of seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, but in order to fold them down, you have to go from the front and fold them down. So let me just do that. Let me just fold down one seat and show you. There's easy lever given on the side of the seat. So when the second row of seat is folded down, you can put about 1072 liters of luggage, which is again pretty good. But the thing is, there is a bit of a luggage reduction because of these seats, obviously because they consume a bit of space. But yeah, nonetheless, you can still put about 1000 liters of luggage in this new CRV when the seats are completely folded, and obviously the second and the third row. But the second row is also slidable, so you can adjust the volume that you get when you fold down the third row of seats and get extra bit of volume in here to put something there. Now there is also a 360-degree camera system that has been given on this CRV. One of the cameras is out there and a couple of them on either side on the side mirrors and one in the front, and there's also a walk away feature. So that's basically you press this button that you nowadays get in these new Hondas. So you press that button and then the key is in my pocket, let me show you, and you just walk away from the car and it will close the door for you. Now on the inside, this new Honda CRV is also practical, sensible and also spacious as it was in the previous generation. So let me begin with the material quality. You get soft touch material on this dashboard out here, even in this bit about the driver's display. Then these door cards are also soft material, and you get this wooden kind of plastic trim that is given out here on the door and also out here on the dashboard. It's meant to look like a wood, but it's just the plastic trim. Even on the other side, on the passenger side, and there are glossy plastics around that, and there are going to be resting hands that's like covered in gray color leather, and at the bottom it's just normal plastic. Even out here there's normal plastic everywhere around these switches and dials. They just feel very solid. They are good to touch too. So yeah, there is more glossy plastic that has been given, and there is also these honeycomb grill that has been given, and behind those you will find your air conditioning vents, and then these joysticks with which you can control. Again, that's aligned with the newer Honda models, the one which was there even in the new Accord. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch the detailed review video of that Honda Accord 2. And out here there's just normal plastic near the glove box. Even out here the center console, there is decent amount of plastic, but yes, there's definitely an improvement in terms of the plastic quality that was there in the previous generation and which is there now on this newer CRV. There's leather covered steering wheel. There are also mood lights that are given in the door cards, in the footwell, and even out here in the center storage. So yeah, there is like good premiumness also to the interior feel. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get a 7-inch digital driver's display, which is like a TFT screen, and on the right side you get a fixed speedometer dial. So yeah, that dial remains fixed, and I'm glad about that, because yeah, you just want to see all your information always around. So yeah, that's one good thing. And then this left side dial shows you your RPM counter, and also in the middle there is the information that you can change, and in the middle there is digital speed, and at the bottom there is more information like your temperature and your total odometer, how much the car has done, and your fuel. So the left side gauge can change information, and that can be changed using the buttons that are given on the left side of the steering wheel. So you press the buttons, and the first information that you will see is your trip information, A and B. Then you press home button again, and then you go to the speed and time, again A and B in there too. Then you go down to the audio, your phone, your navigation, the driver attention, then the all-wheel drive torque distribution. So whichever wheel is being powered, it will be shown. Your seat belts, maintenance, safety support. Then you can leave it in no content if you don't want to see anything. Then your brightness, you can adjust that. There's also heads up display, I'm going to come to that. Then your instrument display settings, where you can see what all you want in your menu options when you want to see. Then your information if there is any warnings or anything, and then you come back to the range and the fuel. So that's straightforward how you can use the information. I love how simple it is. It should be like this, because it's just so much easier, and you don't have to just do too much work when you're inside the car and when you just start driving the car. So yeah, that's your information. And then when you switch on your cruise control and everything, those displays come in the middle of your screen. Now there's also a heads up display that has been given on this CRV, and that is only offered on the touring variant, not on the other variants. So yeah, that's one more reason. If you want to go for the touring one, then you get the heads up display, nice and crisp, big bright display that you get. And again, you can change from inside this driver's display. You go down and then you navigate into the heads up display setting, where you can see your content that is being displayed. So speedometer, you can change it to navigation, driver assist, or you can completely switch it off and just leave it in speedometer. Then brightness and height that you can adjust, and also when you switch on your cruise control and also your lane keep assist, all of that information is shown out there, and also the distance that you set, all of that is shown on your heads up display. Again, that's also pretty simple, so you can just see all the necessary information on your heads up display. When you come to this steering wheel, this is a leather covered round steering wheel with the Honda badging in the middle, and plastic bit, but good quality plastic that has been used in the center, and there are buttons given on either side. There are also paddle shifters that are given, but this comes with a CVT gearbox, so I don't know if you'll be using the paddle shifters, but if you fancy using them, then there are tiny ones, plastic ones, which are given in the back. And the steering wheel is also adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic both, so you can find the right setting. And on the right side you would find the controls for your adaptive cruise control and also the lane keep assist button, so it's right there in front of you. Again, the accessibility of all the functions on this car is just pretty simple, because you don't have to dig into a lot of menu options to just find your basic options. And on the left side you would find the buttons for your media control and also the buttons to change all the display settings on your driver's display, the information that you want to see. So that's your steering wheel. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, you get straightforward button operated air conditioning system on this Honda CRV. So you get tri-zone air conditioning system on this new CRV, but it's not actually tri-zone. I don't know if you can call that, because you can adjust the fan speed for the second and the third row, but maybe we'll just call it a tri-zone for now. And the operation is pretty simple, straightforward. There are these dials, and in the middle dial you can switch it on and off, and then you can control the fan speed. And these dials, as I said, feel super solid. They are illuminated dials also, and on either side you would find the dials to control the temperature on either side. Then you can sync it, or you can change the flow of air and everything from the mode button. So that's your thing. There's also another button that is given on the right side to switch the rear air conditioning on and off. So it's only when you switch this on and off, those rear air conditioning starts working, or you can even control them. And the air conditioning information is shown on the top of your infotainment screen, so if you just are driving, you don't have to take your eyes off, but you can just see the temperature and everything, and also your fan speed, and also the mode or the direction of air that you want. So all that is shown on the top of your infotainment screen. So that's your air conditioning controls, which are pretty straightforward, and that's the best thing about any Hondas. They have the physical dials and buttons to operate the air conditioning controls. And in terms of the efficiency of the air conditioning, Honda's air conditioning system is one of the best, because it just cools down so well, especially during the summers. This becomes very handy. And you have another tri-zone, because you have in the back for the rear passengers also. So that's gonna make things a lot more comfortable on this new Honda CRV. And when you come to this infotainment screen, you get a 9-inch infotainment screen on this new CRV, whereas the base variant, the DX and the LX, gets a 7-inch screen. So that's the difference between the mid variant and the top model with the base variant. So you get this colorful display out here, and as usual the icons are color coded in the most Honda sense. So you have your applications and navigation and different codes and blue colors and everything for different options. And even this infotainment screen is pretty snappy, so it's decent, I would say. It's not too bad, and I like how simplified the whole system is. I love the layout and everything on this system. You can even long press the icons and you can adjust them, whichever icons you want where on your screen, so that you can do. So your first option is your all apps, where you can select which app you want to see on your screen, and then deactivate, activate whatever apps. Then your phone option, and then there is the inbuilt navigation system that you get on this CRV. It's kind of decent, but it's a little slow, and it's a lot more grainy, I find, the information that you see. So if you are not going to be using Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, then you can use this inbuilt navigation system on this CRV. Then there is the FM, the Bluetooth option, inside which you will find all your sources. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect this infotainment system using Bluetooth, USB, and there is wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. For some reason there's still wired Android Auto that you get. Then your smartphone connection, which is your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, traffic announcement, trip computer that you can see inside your trip A, B, all that information. Then you swipe and you go to the general settings, and then you will see your system, smartphone, display, sound, all your settings, camera and everything. So you get 8-speaker music system on this CRV, and all the variants basically get the same 8 speaker music system, so there is no difference in that. Then you get the vehicle settings, next option, where you will see your deflation warning, driver assist, your meter, the heads up display setup from here also, that you can do driving position, key access setup, lighting setup, door, windows, power, tailgate, and maintenance option. Then you go back, there's USB, AM, DAB, system updates, clock, display mode, where you can increase or decrease the brightness of the screen. Then there is the multi-view camera. As I said, you get 360-degree camera system on this CRV, so you can even see when you're parked around if you want to see where you are. So you can call this system from here. Again, pretty straightforward buttons, and at the bottom there are more shortcut buttons that are given for your navigation, phone, FM, Bluetooth, DAB, display, and I think even you can change those options too when you long press them. Yeah, so you can do that too. And there are also shortcut buttons that are given on the sides, on the left side, for your home, back, and also a physical volume dial that has been given. Again, everything is right next to the driver where you want it to be, so it's just easier to operate this car while you're on the move. So that's basically your infotainment screen, and it's just very easy to use. Sometimes it may feel a bit too old now and may need a little bit of change in terms of its graphics or something, but in terms of its operation, it is pretty good and I really like it. Now, in terms of the charging, you get two USB ports, one normal and one type C, and one 12 volt 180 watt power socket that are given underneath the air conditioning controls. There's also one wireless charger that has been given, and for the rear passengers, or in the second and the third row, there are only two Type-C USB ports that are given. Now on this CRV, you get an SOS button for your emergency purposes, and also these sun visors are extendable, yeah, because these doors are pretty long that ways. And you also get a panoramic sunroof, which you can see I've already kept it open, not the actual glass roof but just the cover for it. So yeah, a lot of light can get in and it makes the cabin feel pretty spacious, but yeah, nonetheless it's pretty big sunroof that you get on this thing. Now in terms of the storage, on this new CRV, you can put about 1.5 liter worth of bottles in the door cards and some more storage on the side, but it still lacks a little bit of that storage in terms of, you know, storing a lot of things that way. Smaller storages here and there, but yeah, nonetheless there is that. There is also this wireless charger pad. Around that you can put your phones and wallets. There are also two flexible cup holders that are given. There's another small pad to put your key and everything, and there is this center armrest in which you can easily put like 4, 5 half a liter worth of bottles. There's also this tray that you can shift it front or back, again to you put smaller stuff in there. There's also this glove box that has been given. There is also a sunglass holder, and even in the rear door cards you can put 1.5 liter worth of bottle, and in the center armrest there are two more cup holders that are given. Now I had mentioned that there are lots of CRV logos that are given on this CRV. So the one that was given was on your door sills. There's CRV, which is given on these door cards out here. Even on the other side and even on the carpet, there are CRV badges that are given to remind you which car you are sat in, which is a CRV. And in terms of the gear shifter, compared to the previous generation where there was like a floating structure out here where you would have the gear shifter and openness out here, instead now you have a proper gear shifter in here, like a stick. So, and later on there were like buttons also, so Honda's gotten rid of that, but instead you get these stick operated ones, and very simple, straightforward. You put it in drive. There's also a sport mode in there, like you can put it into that too, and then come back to the parking. And in terms of the driving modes, you get that sport mode, and there is also this economy mode that you can switch this car into, but already this car is pretty efficient as it is, so I don't know if you still want to use that, but yes, there is that given. Your brake hold buttons, your hill descent control buttons and all that are given out here. Now when you come to these seats, these are the grey color leather seats. They are perforated seats, but they are not the heated or the cooled seats. They are just given for the design purposes, and these seats in the first look, they are pretty broad and they are pretty comfortable on this thing, because usually I found the Honda seats to be a little on the harder side, but on this one they are surprisingly very comfortable. There is good amount of support underneath the thigh also, and even in the back, yeah, very comfortable, and you're sat in here quite comfortably. The side support and the bottom support is also pretty good. The headrest, again, they are also squidgy that way, but yeah, they are decently comfortable for longer journeys. And in terms of the adjustment, the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 4-way lumbar adjustability, whereas the passenger side seat is 4-way electronically adjustable. So the Honda CRV has always been about being super spacious, and with this newer generation that also continues because you get lots of space in here. So I'm currently sitting in the second row, and you can see there is a lot of knee room in here. The seats are in my driving position, and I have about full palm worth of knee room in here. The headroom is, I would say, decent. Someone about 6 feet will start brushing their heads, but there's a bit of a cutout given so as to increase the height of the ceiling. But the seating itself is pretty comfortable in here. You are sitting a little on the higher side, but still these seats are quite comfortable to sit on. So you get the same gray color seats which are perforated. They are not the heated or the cooled seats, but they are super comfortable, and again they are pretty wide and broad, and 3 people can actually sit in here very easily. And the seats at the bottom, they provide decent amount of support, as you can see, and you can even slide your legs under the seats for longer journeys to stretch them out a little bit, and then there is just so much of space that you can move your legs also around. And even in the back rest, that's also pretty comfortable, I would say. And the middle seat, now there is only a bit of a tunnel in here, like a small bump, but otherwise the floor is relatively flat. And when you sit in the middle, my head is already kind of brushing the ceiling in here. And the backrest is gotten a bit of a bump, but it's still okay. Like 3 adults can fit in here, not the taller one in the middle for sure, but yes, 3 adults can definitely sit in here. And the second row seats are also slidable, so you have multiple adjustment options, and you can give more space to the third row of passengers or for your cargo also. And you can even recline them, because yeah, that's also an option that's available. You can go pretty much behind and then have a very relaxing position. So lots of options to change, you know, the adjustments of these seats. And in the middle you will find 2 cup holders in the center armrest, and it's pretty broad that way, so you can rest your hands on either side, and also the cup holders stay in the middle. I like this sort of adjustment, and not where they are placed horizontally and they consume your entire space on the handrest itself. In terms of the quality in the door cards, you get the plastic door cards now instead of the soft ones. You get the same plastic trim which looks like a wood, glossy plastic. When I'm going to be resting hands, there's leather covered around these switches. Yeah, decent switches also. And at the bottom there is plastic door cards, again CRV badging given out here. Also, in terms of the storage, you can put about, as I said, 1.5 liter water bottle in the door cards. There are also pocket storage in the passenger and the driver's side seat, and they are kind of a bit shallow, but they are pretty wide that way. There are 2 cup holders that are given. There are also 2 air conditioning vents that are given, but those are controlled using the front air conditioning system. So those just basically you can change the flow of air and the direction of air. In the bottom you have 2 type C USB ports for charging, and the one that I was mentioning, the air conditioning control that you can control for the second and the third row, is mounted on the ceiling out here between the second and the third row seats. So you have this button, so you put it in 1, 2 and 3, and then you have to switch the button on in the front first, and then you can operate this one. So there are 2 vents given on either side for the second and the third row of passenger, but yes, you get plenty of cooling. These rear windows are so wide and so tall that way you get good amount of visibility in here all around. The 360 views are quite amazing on this new CRV. Now for the first time you get a third row on the CRV, and things look slightly tight for sure in this third row, but the second row seat are slided back currently where they were originally. So I just want to show you how much is the space. So you can slide them a little bit in the front, which you can do that from here, and now I can even slide them further. I'm going to show you, but for now I have comfortable position now where my legs, the knees are not hitting the seats. There is like slight bit of gap in there, but I am sitting quite low down, and that you can make out, but that's always the case with all the 3-row SUVs that you sit in. Even the biggest ones will have the same issue because you are sitting quite back into the car, and then the car is being raised up in the back. For that reason, there is a lot of stuff that is being given your spare wheel and everything at the bottom, which is why you are sitting down, and then they have to just give you a lot of space so that you can be accommodated in the 3rd row. So the headroom is decent actually, so somewhere about 6 feet will be also able to sit in here for sure, but the comfort levels are decent, I would say, although I haven't checked if I can adjust the backrest slightly. Yeah, I can do that. I can pull that strap and then I can adjust the seats that way and recline them a little bit, but so far, yeah, it's a pretty usable one. And then if you don't want to use it every day, you can just fold them down and utilize the boot space in this CRV. There are also 2 headrests that are given, so 2 people can easily fit in here. There are also 2 cup holders that are given, and there's like this, to make them cup holders, you have to lift this handle that has been given, and then you can put your cups, and when you are done, you can fold it away. It's a very smart and sensible thing to do. And in order to come out of this car, you can just again lift this lever and then push the seats. But let me show you how far you can push these seats, when obviously there has to be some room for the 2nd row, but I'll just show you how much maximum that you can go in, and then this is how much you can go. There is a lot of space in here, but yes, if you want to come out, you press this completely and then the seats fold away, and then you can come out from here. And the best part is that these doors open nearly 90 degrees, so even for the 2nd row, if you want to put baby seats or anything, or if you want to get into the 3rd row, it's just very easier on this CRV. So this new Honda CRV is powered by a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 190 horsepower and 243 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to a CVT transmission, and this whole transmission and the engine is again available in the Civic and also in the Accord. So in terms of the power delivery and the CVT itself, it's just very smooth. I really like the whole powerhouse that has been given on this thing. You really don't feel the need for a bigger engine that way. Sure, it can become louder sometimes, and you just struggle slightly when you want a lot of power through the traffic, if you want to take over someone or you want to accelerate, but that's the only thing. But most of the times this thing is just very smooth. I really like how the whole thing works, and the CVT is bearable on this thing. It's not bad, and just when you accelerate, that's, as I said, becomes slightly noisy, but again, that's not too much of a concern in that way, because this thing, how it functions, that's just makes up for all the whatever engine size that has been given on this thing. Now in terms of the efficiency, because you get a CVT gearbox on this one, so it's anywhere between 11.5 to 12 kilometers per liter. Maybe you can even go higher, but that's on a day-to-day driving, and yeah, that's pretty impressive for a car that is a 7-seater. That's again pretty impressive for the figures that it is delivering. Now when it comes to the steering, again, that's an electronic steering on this one, but it's very nicely weighted, and it's got a very small turning radius also, and the feedback from this steering is pretty great. I mean, this car dynamically has evolved so much. Like, there is such a good chassis and the power unit and everything that it's just very hard to find flaws in this car. So the steering, yes, very responsive. You got good amount of feedback from it, and you turn in and you know exactly where the car is pointing. It feels light whenever you want it, and it also got that strong feedback when you want it to be. So on that steering front, this is very good. Now when you come to the suspensions, again, they are on the comfortable side. There is soft, there's a bit of a roll, I will admit, but not an alarming one. It's just a good amount of control that this car gives you with the suspension. And because there are like 18-inch rims on this one, so even the tires help in soaking up a lot of bumps and everything, and as a result you get a very gentle ride through any of the bumps or anything that you have. Like currently I just tackled this speed breaker, and again I'm just sitting here very well. Complemented with these seats, it just elevates the ride experience on this Honda CRV. Now you get an all-wheel drive system on this one, so you can go like places where there won't be loose sand or there'll be lack of traction, so you just can go where you will find like rocks and sand and mixture of just gravel and stuff. This can easily do that, but yeah, that's almost about it. It's just that it also, the all-wheel drive helps you with the handling also. When you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this CRV, and the brake pedal setup is pretty even and very progressive, and the braking action is also rather good, I would say, which is what you want, a confidence inducing brakes that you definitely get on this CRV. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, so again the noise is completely eliminated on this one, and I think the deflectors work very well in that department. And not just that, even the build quality has been improved, so you can feel that everything is quite sturdier that way. There's no vibrations or rattling, so that gives you again much more confidence. And the noise itself is none, to be honest. There's only the engine noise that you will hear and the CVT growling, and that's the only thing. But apart from that, yeah, very quiet and pleasant ride experience on this new CRV. So apart from that, the safety systems that you get on this are immense. So you get 8 airbags, 8, okay. You get 1 for the front driver and the passenger, then there are 2 more given for the side airbags. There are also 2 curtain airbags given. There are also 2 knee airbags for the driver and the passenger. Yeah, so it's a lot more safe also, this car. There are also child ISOFIX points in both the rear seats. There are also front and the rear collision warnings that you get. There is also a fabulous 360-degree camera system, really nice 360-degree camera system that has been given. You can select a few views from that, wide view or the full screen view that you want to see, so you can select all of that from there, but that's about it. But the 360 is very crisp. There is also ABS, there is also EBD, there is also traction control system, there is also the lane watch that you get. Again, the quality from that can be improved a little bit. Then there is the adaptive cruise control, then there is the lane keep assist and everything that you get. The Honda sensing itself, where it will sense the warnings or the dangers around you in the car and then let you know. So all of that is all present on this one. And also in the base variants also, surprisingly, you get pretty much everything in terms of the safety system. So yeah, Honda's just upped the game and just given you all the safety systems irrespective of the model that you get. Few changes here and there, but the basic ones and the essential ones are all given on every model. Now when you come to the pricing, so that's where things get a little interesting. So the base variant, which is the DX, comes in at 124,900 dirhams, which is a 2-wheel drive. The LX variant, which is the 2-wheel drive again, but a little higher version, comes in at 126,900 dirhams. You get a wireless charger in that one. Then there is the EX variant, which comes in at 145,900 dirhams. And then there is the touring variant, which is this one, which comes in at 160,900 dirhams. But EX and the touring are the all-wheel drive variant, and on the touring you get the heads-up display and the roof rails and everything. So yeah, that's your differences between all the models. But in terms of the pricing, yes, I understand the 160 is a lot, and now it starts inching into its own pilot territory after that, and a lot more cars which are more premium for sure. But if you want the base variant, which is a 2-wheel drive, and if you're not going to be doing a lot of off-roading, then that DX variant is just ample, because it's got all the comfort creatures that you want on this car. So you won't need anything else. If you still want something more like a wireless charger thing, then you can go for the LX. And if you still want like a all-wheel drive, then the EX is gonna be sufficient, because I'm sure you can just live without the heads-up display. But if you absolutely want a fully loaded car, then this is the one to go. Now the thing is, this Honda CRV is just absolutely perfect small SUV that you can have, because it's got 3 rows, it's practical, it's just so much more sensible, and it's got so much of space on the inside. And the looks, honestly, now it looks really good with this new exterior, and the interior layout has changed so much. It's become much more friendly and much more easier to operate, and it's got everything latest tech and the gadgets that you want on the inside also. And to be honest, it actually over delivers on a lot of things, and I just call it actually like an overachiever SUV, because it just overachieves in so many departments. And I think you should definitely check this car out when you are shortlisting a family SUV, because it can be a very great daily driver, and also efficient too, and reliable, and very good cooling, very important, especially in the UAE. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.